it's me, Hairyett. I'm so happy and super excited to be back, telling you a story this time. This story's got a really weird name. I love weird names, but this one really takes the cake. This one is called Rumplestiltskin. Have you heard this story before? Rumplestiltskin? That's kind of a cool name. But let's see what the story is about. What are we waiting for? Let's go for it. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a miller and his beautiful daughter. This miller made flour, so he turned grain into flour. But he also loved to tell stories, big, fantastical, amazing stories. He especially loved to tell stories about his daughter. And the bigger and wilder the stories were, the better. One day he was telling a whole lot of people all about his daughter and how she was the most amazingest and the most brilliant and the cleverest and the most talented in the whole village, even the whole land. And along came a king. He was on his horse and he had a little trumpet. That is always going to be the sound for the king. Anyway, he came along and he saw the miller and he heard the miller and he said, "You there, what is so amazing about your daughter?" The miller bowed. He had never ever spoken to a king before and he was actually quite super excited. He said, "Your Majesty, my daughter is so clever that she can spin straw into gold." "Spin straw into gold?" said the king. "That is amazing. She must come to my palace and I will put her to the test." "Oh, well, at once. I will not take no for an answer." He was a very bossy man. So the miller took his daughter to the king's palace at once. And in the palace there was a tower, and in the tower there were many rooms. And then the king, you know what he did? He got his servants to bring a whole lot of straw to fill up that room from the bottom all the way to the top. And then, do you know what he said? You know what he said to the daughter? Because she was feeling so confused and nervous and she didn't know what was going on. He said, "Young lady, now you get to work. In the morning, if you have not spun this straw into gold, you will die." And then he slammed the door and he locked it behind him. What a horrible mini pants. I don't even like this guy. And the girl, she was all alone. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what to do. She had no idea how to spin straw into gold. "What will I do?" she said. And then she called out into the air, "No one can do such a thing." And just then, you won't believe this, in a little puff of smoke, there was a little man standing right in front of her. That's right, a strange little man. I don't know what he said. He said, "Did I hear you say no one?" "What?" said the girl, shocked. "Where did you come from?" "Never mind that," said the little imp. "What matters is that I can save your life. For a price, of course." "You can spin straw into gold?" said the girl. "What kind of a price do you have in mind?" "Well, it has to be something very important to you," said the imp. The girl thought about it. "Well, I don't have very much." "What about that necklace?" said the little imp, pointing at her necklace. "Well, this necklace is very dear to me, but not as dear as my freedom," said the girl. So she said to the little man, "If you do this for me, and you spin all the straw into gold in the morning time, I will give you my necklace." And so she fell asleep because she was exhausted. And while she was sleeping, that little man went to work on his little spinning wheel. And when the girl woke up in the morning, oh my goodness, wowzers, the whole room was just full of gold thread. Not even one single piece of straw was left in that room. Thank you so much, said the girl to the little guy, the little mean impy guy. And he said, no problem, now give me the necklace. And she gave it to him and poof, he was gone. And just at that moment, the door opened and in strolled the king. The king was so very, very happy when he saw all of that straw turned into gold. This is wonderful, he said. Thank you, said the girl. Now I can leave. Not so fast, said the horrible, mean old king. Why have one room of gold thread when I can have two? And then he took the girl into a second, bigger room that was filled with even more straw, all the way to the top. And he said, right, you, straw, into gold, all. Then he slammed the door in her face, click, locked her in there. The poor girl, she just began crying. What else could she do? She was just so upset. She said, oh, I was so lucky last night, but I can't be lucky again. Who said you can't be lucky? Was a little voice. There, in front of her, she couldn't believe her eyes, was the little strange, weird guy again. I can help you one more time, said the little imp. So the girl said, well, what do you want? How about that ring? Said the imp. Oh, this ring was given to me by my mother, said the young girl. But she knew what she had to do, so she said to the little guy, if you do this for me, I will give it to you in the morning time. And she fell fast asleep. She was tired. She was very tired. She was emotionally stressed. And so the little guy, he first did some dancing and then he did some working. And he sat on that little spinning wheel all night long. And in the morning, the little girl woke up. She couldn't believe her eyes. The whole room was full of gold thread. The king came in and he couldn't believe his eyes. Oh my goodness, he said. This is amazing. Oh, please, please, I've done what you asked me. Please let me go, said the girl. But the king was greedy and he said, not so fast. Why have 2 rooms when you can have 3 rooms of gold? I mean, this guy was impossible. So, you know what he said. Morning time, you better do it, otherwise... And he slammed the door in her face and locked the door. The poor girl was devastated. She just couldn't believe this. In fact, she felt so depressed. She felt really gloomy, like it was going to be gray skies forever. Oh my goodness, would she ever get out of this place? And she just put her head down like this and she started to cry. And then she heard this little voice saying, I bet you knew I would come back. I didn't know for sure, said the girl, but I don't have anything to give you, so you might as well go away. I can't pay you. We will find a good price. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about the thing. And he went to work, spinning a straw into gold. Stop, said the girl. Please, I have nothing left. But the imp did not stop. Oh, he was a spinning machine. He worked all night long. And even though the young girl tried to wave at him and beg him to stop hour after hour, it was no use. By the morning time, the job was done. There, said the imp, all done. Now I will tell you my price. But that's not fair, said the girl. Lots of things are not fair, said the imp with a little shrug. Very well, she sighed. What is your price? Oh, nothing right now, he said, but later, if you become queen, I will take away your first child. she couldn't believe this, but also she didn't ever think that she was ever going to become queen, so she wasn't really that worried about it. Well, I'll be fine then, she thought. But what she didn't realize was that this handsome prince, the son of the king, was arriving that night. And when he heard about this amazing girl, he came walking up to the tower. He opened the door. He saw all this beautiful gold that this wonderful girl had made. And he said, my father said, if you did this and you made all this straw into gold, then you would become my wife. But don't worry, if you don't want to become my wife, then you don't have to. I'm not going to force you into anything you don't want to do. And he was such a lovely guy that they spoke all night. They got to know each other, and guess what? They fell madly in love. So madly in love. And guess what? They got married. It was a beautiful wedding. I was so jealous when I heard about the wedding. Everyone was wearing hats. Anyway, so then the king, the old grumpy old horrible king, he died. Yeah, and years later, guess what? The queen had a baby. Well, that is going to have to wait for part 2, because guess what? It's a very long story. So if you want to find out what happens now that the queen has a baby, and if you want to know if that horrible impy guy is going to come back, then you have to watch part 2. That's right, there's a part 2. I can't wait. I'm so super excited. Well, I hope you enjoyed that part 1. See you soon. Toodaloo.